I have a trade to announce. Just when we thought the offseason was going to start winding down, Golden Knights decided to go out and do something that no one expected to happen, and that would be to pick up another goalie. I spent the last week and a half going on and on to anybody who will listen to me about how the Golden Knights are going to go into this season with Laurent Brossoit and Logan Thompson, with Michael Hutchinson in the AHL, and that's just the way it's going to be. Everybody on the internet has agreed with me. A lot of the pundits in and outside of Vegas has all agreed that that's the consensus, that was what was going to happen. That wasn't until about 20 minutes ago. Because it was just announced very recently, like I checked Trade Tracker on TSN, and this isn't even out there yet, that Adin Hill has been traded to the Golden Knights from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for a 2024 fourth-round pick. Now, let's break this down in its pieces. Let's think about what the Golden Knights are giving away. A fourth-round pick in 2024, so 2 drafts from now. Odds are a fourth-round pick isn't going to pan out very well, and so it's a reasonable price to pay for a little bit of assistance in net, which this particularly is a position in which the Golden Knights are going to be hurting this year with the absence of Robin Lehner. And what this trade speaks a little bit more to what the organization is dealing with on the inside, but I'll get to that in a minute. What the Golden Knights are getting is a very serviceable NHL caliber backup goaltender in Adin Hill. Now, we can ignore the fact that he's part of the San Jose Sharks, or was part of the Sharks, and we can ignore the rivalry for a second to appreciate the player that he is. His career stats are pretty solid. He's a career 2.74 goals against and a career 9.08 save percentage goalie. Those are pretty respectable numbers, especially given that he's played on some rather debatable teams in his day. He was drafted into the Coyotes organization and then was traded to the Sharks right as they entered the doldrums. So the fact that he's putting up reasonable numbers on teams that aren't very good is somewhat promising, especially now that he's going to be going to a team in Vegas that has a lot of defensive prowess and has a really good defensive structure. You know, good defensive forwards, good two-way forwards like Riley Smith and William Karlsson, Mark Stone, who is a Selke candidate a lot of the time. You know, Norris quality candidates in Alex Pietrangelo, Alec Martinez, and Shea Theodore. All of those are reasons why. All those reasons why the team should be relatively excited for what's going on here. One of the things that I find really interesting is he had a pretty decent 2021 campaign. 25 games played, which was a career high, 2.6 goals against average, and a .906 save percentage with 2 shutouts on a pretty bad San Jose Sharks team. So that's something to be optimistic about. One of the things that I like about him is he shouldn't be called Adin Hill, he should be called Adin Mountain, standing at 6'6", 214 pounds. That's a big boy as a goalie, and as it goes for the Pacific Division, that makes him one of the tallest goalies in the division and one of the bigger goalies in the Western Conference. So that's a little bit of size. That's not a bad thing, especially when it comes to stopping pucks. Now, this casts a really interesting shadow onto what the team is going to look like in the coming weeks. What this tells me personally is that Laurent Brossoit isn't going to be ready for the start of the season. Why would we go out and get a 1B or 2 backup goalie to help out Logan Thompson way out if we didn't think that Laurent Brossoit was going to be back early in the season, if at the beginning of the season at all? So this leads me to believe that there's something going on behind the scenes with his recovery that has the front office slightly worried, which is why he went out and got another goalie. A little bit of backup never hurts, especially when Thompson will be going into his first real season as an NHL goalie. What's the worst that could happen if he has Adin Hill, who is a very serviceable backup behind him? This would allow Michael Hutchinson to hang out in the AHL, beef up the Henderson Silver Knights a little bit, and be ready just in case of injury, unless, if Hill goes down, Thompson goes down, or Brossoit is unable to come back and any of those things happen, Hutchinson would be the next man up. That's just the way that the position is, and that's the way the cookie crumbles for this scenario. The thing that makes me laugh about this whole situation is now we have 5 NHL experienced goalies under contract, 4 of which are eligible to play right now, which means that every single spot in the American Hockey League and National Hockey League can be filled by somebody who has NHL starts, whether that be Laurent Brossoit if he's healthy, Logan Thompson, Michael Hutchinson, and now Adin Hill. How that's going to shake out is for the coaches to decide as we're coming up on training camp pretty soon. And whether or not Brossoit is going to be able to make it to the start of the season is still up in the air. And this trade tells me that there's a very strong possibility he's not going to be here. So we have that to look forward to, whether it be more goalie turnover or whether it be something else. This is our front office doing everything they can to make sure that the team is in the best position to do well right from the drop of the hat this year. Because we learned that those early season points, every game counts, every point counts. Given how tight the margin was at the end of last season, it would have been a lot nicer to start the year 2-3 as opposed to 1-4. We could have appreciated that game on game 81 and game 82 of the season, and we didn't quite know we needed it in game 1 and game 2. This isn't really a lot of news. I was sitting down doing my homework and my phone decided to explode on me. Obviously I wasn't the only one who was taken by surprise. TSN still doesn't have this trade up, and I think the Golden Knights just put it out 5 minutes ago. So it's an exciting moment. Trades are always fun, especially when it's really not a loss. We're not really giving up anything. And if this experiment doesn't work out, we can probably flip him at the deadline for a 3rd-round pick if he's having a good season. So this is actually a net benefit for the team as a whole. So just to recap, Adin Hill traded from the San Jose Sharks to the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for a 4th-round pick. We can talk about the ramifications of this trade until the sun sets, but at the end of the day, this is what the Golden Knights needed to do for one reason or another to make sure that the goaltending position has been shored up. On the eve of training camp, it feels like in just a couple of weeks, this is kind of late in the game to be making trades, but this is like a minor trade in the grand scheme of things. So as a diehard fan, I wouldn't be too concerned about who's going to be starting opening night when we go into the Fortress against the Chicago Blackhawks. I'd still put all my money that it'll be Logan Thompson. But, with the way that the team has been cursed by the injury bug over the last 18 months, nothing is ever certain. So maybe let's open up our hearts to a former Shark like we did to Coach Pete DeVore and, let Adin Hill wow us with his talents. He's a big guy. He's a career good goalie, and I think he's going to do good things for the team. So it's an exciting time. I can't wait for the training camp to start so we can see what he's got, what gear he's going to be wearing, what helmet design he has. I saw a picture of Logan Thompson's cage on Twitter, and it made me so happy because it's really cool. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's definitely worth a look as we're going to be seeing a lot of it this coming season. So until next time, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like it, comment down below, subscribe, do all the things, press all the buttons, and I will catch you guys in the next one.